driving like it's stolen. I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grabbed my hand, gave me the notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I was sipping more for 2 years straight to the face. Champagne belly bubbles still won't go away. Last year my best man hit a stain with bare face. Now he's gotta help behind the water's cold case. I wake up with pain sometime and never go away. Wonder why I balance to my
Hey, welcome everybody. I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of This, That, and the Third. This is your boy Hook. I'm here with the homie Shannon. Shannon, what's good with you?
Ain't nothing. I'm still trying to recover from my Beyonce experience. You
So
know,
Beyonce was good. Queen B was good to you?
She was good to me. She was real good to me. She wore me out. But I'm here. I done recovered a little bit.
So today's episode is really something that we feel doesn't get said out loud often enough. Black community, right? We keep showing up. We protest, we speak out, we march, not just for ourselves, but also for everybody else, right? But here's the question. When it's our pain, our struggle, and our fight, who shows up for us, right? Are we building real solidarity or just lending our voices to movements that don't return the love? So this episode, and I want to be clear, it's not about division. It's about discernment. It's about asking, where does allyship and opportunism begin, right? So Shannon, what are your thoughts?
I've been interested to see the pushback. You started hearing a lot of commentary saying, "Hey, I'm staying home. I ain't going out there. Y'all don't go out there." And at first it was like, well, hey, this is our fight too. And then you start thinking about, well, is it? Is it our fight? We tried to warn the people. We tried to say the things, or at least some of us feel that way, but we still are where we are, right? So is it really our fight? Or is protesting even working? Are we doing it right?
Right.
Because we've been doing the same thing for a long time and haven't really seen a whole lot of success. So are they right about us not going out there, but they're wrong about not trying to find another way to do it? So I don't know. I'm open to see what the panelists have to say about it.
Yeah, and so am I. Obviously, I have my opinions, but more so, I really want to hear what our panelists think, and I think it's going to be a really good conversation, man. So before we get started, though, we do want to give our guests an opportunity to introduce themselves. Javi, we're going to start with you. Then we're going to go to Terry, and Tanae, we'll have you finish this up. So Javi, go ahead.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Javier Ortiz. I'm a disabled veteran. I work at the Department of Veteran Affairs. So because I know this, y'all have a pretty big audience. If there are veterans out there that, you're having trouble with VA ratings and whatnot, please reach out. You can reach Shannon and Hook here. I'm always here to help.
All right, good deal. Sister Terry?
Hello, everyone. My name is Terry Jackson. I also am a financial advisor in the financial industry of life insurance and IULs and fixed index annuities. So if you are looking to build wealth using those methods, do reach out.
All right, and Tanae finishes off.
Hi, I'm Tanae Parker. I guess in the context of this show today, I'm a community activist, and I guess that's the insight that I bring today.
All right. And again, we want to thank each of you for coming on, and for our viewers, make sure you guys react, make sure you follow, make sure you share and subscribe. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about it, man. We'll start, right? So I want to ask you all a question. So why is it that Black people are often expected to show up for everyone else's struggles, but rarely see the same support in return? And feel free to answer in any order that you wish.
Nobody want to say something? I'll go first.
Go ahead, Javi. Start us off.
Because obviously I'm the not black person on this panel, I have a kind of a different view on things, right? So everyone knows like the slavery thing. After the slavery thing, there was a small little section in time where the Latinos was getting, their pushback. The Italians were getting their pushback, but it wasn't as great of an impact as the slavery times, right? So slavery was such a big impact that no one else really has been as affected. Let's say maybe that's not the right term, right? But now we see what's going on with the Latino culture, or with the immigration, basically, right? This really, I'm not going to say it hasn't happened because many other presidents prior have been deporting a whole bunch of immigrants. It's just right now it is more viewed because social media and the dislike for the president currently. So everything he does is basically more on display, I would say, right? Because everyone's like, oh, Trump's a racist, oh, Trump this or that. But Trump still hasn't touched, like, let's say, Obama's numbers when it comes to deportating immigrants, right? So immigrants right now are kind of like, wow, we've never been on display like this before. We don't really know what to do. So what do? They look at black counterparts. They're like, hey, like, what are we supposed to do? Can you help us? How have y'all handled this? And I'm kind of like sitting back and looking and like and thinking everyone has to focus on their group first. So amongst immigrants, they have to come together because as we've seen, as been publicly made, immigrants have paid, what was it, something like $2 trillion in taxes. So it's not like they just here taking up space; they actually donating to the cause. Immigrants help a lot of people. They help many different states, and if they were all to leave, it will be felt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Terry, I see you shaking your head. What you think?
I agree. I agree. If immigrants leave, we would suffer a little. I remember going to Miami, and at this time where it first started happening, and our wait time, everything was affected because all the immigrants had left. And we don't think about those little things. Like when I go in communities that are being built, I see the immigrants or Mexican or whatever Latino, whatever the proper term is, but the jobs, as they say, that we are no longer wanting to take, they're filling. They're competitive with prices because, like my brother, Javi knows, my brother just built a brand new house, and the extras that he wanted done to his house, he had the immigrants do it because everybody else was overpriced. So it does make a difference. They do make a difference. They do impact, I think, our society. Um, I've even talked to immigrants who wanted life insurance. They know the importance as well. So I mean, immigrants are people like us. I don't understand like why we're treating them like they're foreign. They've always been here. Now, do I think there should be a process? Absolutely. There should be a process. I pay taxes. You all pay taxes. I think they should pay taxes too.
Well, what about from
So if they're here,
the standpoint of them,
hmm,
like how you first started talking about they haven't been marginalized like this in his, how he was describing it in the past, where
hmm,
Black Americans have been marginalized for over 400 years and plus some still to this day, and coming to us and
right.
asking, hey, well, how do we do it? How do we make an
I
impact?
think this is our fight. This is not our fight. I'm not going to get out there and march. I'm gonna be honest. My sister-in-law is Mexican. Is she not, Javi?
Right?
I love her to pieces, but I'm not getting out there and marching. She's not out there marching
I'm Latino. I'm
because
not out there marching.
she don't feel like she don't feel like it's her fight, because guess what? She's still a U.S. citizen. You have to do things the right way. You have to do things the right way. I look at it like this: if Black people, if the roles were reversed and it was us, we'd be on the next ship back. I'll be honest. So, and nobody standing up for us but us.
You know
Today, what you think?
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if the issue is real, like the value or the contributions that immigrants have to this country. Like I think we know that. I guess what I'm understanding the conversation tonight is about is allyship and what we owe them in their fight. And I think even just in the conversation we're hearing, Javier saying that he's not in the fight and your sister-in-law isn't in the fight. And those are the people, Black Americans do not have allyship. And that's not just from, people of different ethnicities, even across the diaspora. We do not have allyship. So as somebody that has been front lines for 26 years, I know who's there and I know who shows up. So as far as do we owe them anything in their fight? No, we absolutely do not. And kind of that's where I am with it. Like I'm not getting out there. I'm not advocating. And even I don't think that even the conversation about they need to do things the right way. This country was not founded on anybody doing anything the right way. So I don't even think that's fair. I don't think that's a fair argument at all for immigration either. I think even as far as when we start talking about Trump and his policies and what's happening and what we're seeing now, you can't compare this to the Biden or the Obama administration. This is what he's doing is vile. It's evil. It's disrespectful. I mean, it's just and the thing it's not rooted in anything other than hate. And then when you get to the bottom of what this is about, why these practices are happening, why they're happening the way they're happening, why it's frontline and the examples that they're being made and who they're doing this to, it is in hate, and that's unfortunate. I empathize with those people. I empathize with the people that are suffering. But as far as again, allyship, and even when it comes to from their own communities and people that voted against their own interests, because there are a lot of people that voted against their own interests. We don't owe them anything. Black people don't owe anybody anything, and that's just kind of where I stand with it.
Are we looking at it from the wrong lens, though? Like we're all U.S. citizens or aspire to be, and we have a person who is in office that a lot of us look at and describe his tactics, like Tanae did, as evil, as seated in deep division and hatred towards other human beings. So from that lens, do we feel the same way? We're all impacted. We all are facing the same struggles because we're all living in this country. Does that hold any weight?
I think as African Americans, we have plenty of our own struggles, and we're not even that's the least of our concerns. I mean, we face so many different levels of systemic oppression. Like we can never, by the time we address everything that is plaguing our communities, the way that we're marginalized, all the things that we face, we'll never get to that. Like we will never get to, we have unfair housing practices, we have discrimination on employment, we have the school to prison pipeline, there's just too much we need to worry about in our own
stacked up too much. It's too many stacks.
Yeah, we'll never get there. That will never be our problem.
I'm gonna disagree just a little bit with some of stuff that was said. So, like, to go and say, "Oh, what Trump's doing is out of evil or hate." No, didn't Obama build the cages that we was talking about not too long ago? That's down there in Texas and stuff. And then everyone's like, "Oh, the cages that are separating families." The same thing Obama and Biden was doing. Okay, the only thing is it's just not on display. And we're talking about like things of fairness, right? It's so many homeless Americans, so many homeless veterans that are here in the United States. When that big wave of immigrants came in and they went to Philadelphia, they went to New York, they went to Chicago, right? I think Chicago's mayor right now, he's in pretty big trouble right now with the people of Chicago, and they want him out of there. Why? Because they are $793 million in the hole. Then they just fired something like 4,000 teachers, or maybe it's 4,000 people, personnel total for the city there. All those immigrants that got food stamps. They were in 4 and 5-star hotels, getting food and things that they need. But then you had all these Americans who that are rooted here, not getting anything. So when we say, oh, talk about fairness, that's one of the things that we're talking about basically. The things Trump are doing are just more magnified because that's what the left kind of does. That's what they kind of bounce off of each other. Because if it was a blue person in office, the Reds would be over here saying, "Oh, but look what the blue person is doing," and they'll try to magnify things. When we go on to say black people have no allyship or allegiance from other people, I'm pretty sure there were some white people out there helping slaves become free. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if we go, wait, let me finish a little bit. There are people out there that want to help people that are not in their group or under them. Can we agree on that? Because it's to
No, we
say
can't.
we cannot agree that not all white people are bad. Are you one of the
No.
people that like if you're white it ain't right? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense.
Here's the thing. That's a whataboutism. And we're not here for whataboutisms. We're talking about as a collective. Black people do not have allyship. We do not. That's a period behind it because that's it. As far as you've just given us a lot of whataboutisms. What about Biden? What about Obama? What about what they did? Here's the thing: enforcing immigration policies and spreading divisive, hateful rhetoric are not one and the same. What you're comparing is them enforcing immigration policies. That's what they did. That there's nothing wrong with them enforcing immigration policies. You are talking about a president right now that has literally to say that, because you've already called slavery like this small thing, and it wasn't just slavery. It was slavery. It was mass incarceration. It was Jim Crow. It was the crack epidemic that had plagued the African American community. So it wasn't just this one thing that happened to Black people. There were a lot of things that happened to Black people in this country that contributed to where we are right now. So there's that. As far as allyship, no, there's the few people that may have helped. I've been there. Like you don't go out and you don't help your own people advocate for immigration reform. So you can't really speak to who has been on the front lines for Black people for 400 years. And if there were so many white people that were helping Black people, we wouldn't have been enslaved to begin with, and we wouldn't have been enslaved for 400 years. So like that's just factual.
No, that makes sense because if the tide is going all one way and you go against the tide, you're going to get ran over. You're going to get drugged under. So that wouldn't make sense. What the times is what the times is. Right now, there's a huge epidemic with the trans community, right? If you try to go up against them, they try and cancel you. It's just a thing that was happening during the times. It's unfortunate that it did happen, but
slavery is unfortunate.
Is it a bad part of history? Of course it is. Anyone that says anything other is just completely ignorant. But what I am saying is what was happening during that time. The people, obviously, who went against that, they face some pretty bad repercussions.
Black people, African Americans in this country are still reeling from the stain of slavery. Okay, so that's not something that just happened to us 400 years ago. We are literally a few generations removed from slavery. So and honestly, I feel like in order to speak intelligently on this subject, you have to know something about it and you have to do the work. And I don't feel like you have. And it's kind of offensive to speak about slavery and oversimplify what has happened to this culture. And that's honestly, it's precisely why we don't owe you all anything. You don't even do the work to know enough about us and what has plagued our communities and the things that we have been through to ever expect us to advocate for you at all, to be honest.
Oh, I 100% agree. That's why I said at the very beginning when I got on, I'm the only non-Black person on the panel right now. So my input is actually very minute compared to what y'all have actually been through or things that y'all are probably going through right now. My thing is just from where I'm sitting. But where I'm sitting, there are plenty of Black activists out there that say the complete opposite of what you're saying.
Name one.
I don't know some of these people's names. I follow them on.
So you don't know any
TikTok.
Black activists to speak of. So because that means that you're not immersed in that space to speak about what they do.
No, I listen to what they say. I either agree or I disagree, and then I keep swiping.
Well, I'm listening to both of y'all talking. I'm still trying to figure out from my position is how do we move forward? What do we do? How do we never come together? Do we let the segmentship grow? Like you stay with your people, I stay with my people. We fight for only the things that we think are valuable to my people and our culture, and you do yours. But then at the same token, you have men like Trump, to me, feeding in on that because he know we're not together. He know we're not going to take a stand as one against the minority, which I feel like they are.
Right.
Now,
So
what I will say is, first of all, I'm doing a conversation. That's why I haven't
yeah,
been
I
saying
am
a whole
too.
lot because I'm really just taking all this in, right? And to answer your question, Shannon, I don't know how we move forward. The first steps, though, based on Tanae and Javi's conversation, I think the first step is to understand the people. You have to really sit down, listen, and really listen to what they've been through and how their lives have been impacted as a result. And that's one of the reasons that I don't talk uh, anything race related on social media because I'm talking to a bunch of people who they just don't understand our plight. They don't understand what we've been through. We're still facing some residual effects from slavery, believe it or not. I know that many people outside the community don't want to believe that, but it's a fact. And that's also one of the reasons that, for me personally, when it comes to the plight of other ethnic races, other ethnicities, other than myself, like I care, but I don't get involved because I'm just kind of like it's who's there for us, you know what I mean? And not being petty or anything like that, but I do think that there has to be some type of reciprocity when it comes to that. And whenever Black people tend to go through anything, you may have because Tanae mentioned what about isms, right? So yeah, there are a few people out there who non-Black people who may interject and may empathize and may try to go along with what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. But as a vast majority, not so much. Not
I can agree with exact everything you're saying, and it's not to say that I'm not disagreeing with what Miss Parker is saying. She's an activist. She knows clearly, who's in the business and who does what, who says what as well. That is not my forte. Okay, so I can sit here and I can voice very small opinions compared to what she can voice. Obviously, she's more involved in activist work than I am. I mean, we want to start speaking about veterans and the military and stuff like that. Of course, I would have a lot more valid points. I'm not trying to discredit anything that Ms. Parker is saying or anything that she has done, but definitely I'm not the correct person to have an intellectual debate on this topic. I just want let's make sure that we're clear on that point.
But at the same
I can voice some stuff on there, but
yeah.
like she may have a point. I'm definitely not the person to sit up here and definitely speak on this topic 100%. But I do know what I have seen, what I have heard. It all just may be hearsay, but you know what I'm saying? It kind of just is what it is.
But there are Black people who don't have the experience that Miss Parker has.
Oh, of course, I agree with that too.
Well, Shannon, like, do y'all have her experience?
Oh, definitely not. I would never equate.
So,
Yeah.
at
But
some point, how do we come together is the question. How do we come together? I understand that this may not be our fight because, who's fighting for us? I get that. I understand that. But I also look and see that if we were united, how powerful that could be too.
It's
I
one of those
think
things. Oh, go ahead.
I think the quest for unity is not something, it's not realistic, and it's not something that we should be looking for. What our goal should be is building community within our own communities. We have to advocate for ourselves. The thing is, anti-Blackness is global. So anybody that you want to feign allyship with, a lot of those cultures are rooted in anti-Blackness. And that's even across, especially even Black Americans, you will find that across the diaspora. So like, that's not, we need to worry about us. We don't need to worry about anyone. Separate was never the problem. Equal was. We need to fight for equity in our communities. We need to build our own communities. We need to work within our communities. thinking that this is gonna be some kumbaya, hold hands. It's not going to happen. And you're even still hearing that in some of the conversations with people that are being deported. Like they're saying, I just wouldn't have voted at all. They're never people that don't see you as equal. They don't see you as humans. They just see you as less than. The reality is they voted for us to be oppressed. If it were us, they would not be there. What about the blacks? So why are we worried about them? They are not our concerns, and we need to let that go. You need to free yourself of that, because the sooner that we free ourselves of feeling like we owe anybody anything, black people don't owe anybody a thing. So the sooner you free yourself from the shackles of, oh, I have to love and help my neighbor, people that have never loved and helped and respected you, people that have never don't advocate for your children, they don't care if you live or you die, people that follow you around stores, they don't care anything about you. So why are you worried about them? That's an unfortunate thing that happened to you. But guess what? Now you're getting a taste of what has been happening to us in this country for 400 years. Bye. That's you. Every man for himself, God for us all.
I respect that today, but I guess when I think about it is that we do live in the democracy that we live in, and it's structured the way that it's structured, right? So if we're only focused in our communities and doing the thing, how do we get representation to our government, which does have a way to oppress us?
You vote in your community. You elect
Even
officials
when we're
in
in
your
our own
communities.
community
We live in
building.
We're still very much segregated this country is still very much segregated. People live in predominantly black neighborhoods, predominantly your children people go to predominantly black schools, predominantly black grocery stores. Vote within your interests. Organize your people. Educate your people.
Predominantly black churches.
I'm sorry. Okay, it's yeah, but again, you do the work within your community.
I get what you're saying, and it's a good
focus on voter turnout, and not even just voter turnout, and stop waiting on the government to save you. Like, figure out ways in community to save yourselves. Figure out ways to be independent from it, because the reality is it doesn't matter who you elect, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, you have those people that are not in your community. So they're not voting in the interest of your community. They're voting in the interest of self. They're coming up with policies in the interest of self. Our communities have our own needs. So we need to figure out how to meet the needs in our own community. It's really, the real work is in community. It's not in government. And as soon as we understand that we need to be doing community work and stop waiting on the government to come and save us, because they're not. That's where real change happens.
Yeah, and I get that too. And that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is doing the work in your community. Yeah, but your community is not just at the whim of what you do in the community, right? There are outside forces that impact your community as far as sending money into your community, whether we like it or not. I feel like it's a thing,
right?
And how do we combat that at the same time we build our community up?
When they stop sending resources into your community, the thing is, whether they send the resources into your community or not, your community is going to still be there, and your community is still going to need you. So that's what I'm saying. So you need to be able to sustain independent of the government. Like, either way, like whether Trump releases these billions of dollars to these Title I schools or not, these kids are still going to need resources. That's not going to change, so whether you get it or not, your community still needs it. So that's what I mean, being community independent of the government. So if they don't do it, then what? They don't have it. These kids still need books. These kids still need
strengthening the community so that the impact of any oppression is less.
So they can't hurt you. When they can't control you, they can't hurt you.
Now, I do want to I want to address something that Tanae alluded to just a moment ago. So can we truly be in solidarity with another group if they have not confronted their own anti-blackness? And Terry, I want to start with you, Terry.
You know what? When it comes to those things, I wasn't raised that way. So I can only speak on what I know, what I feel, because I come from a biracial family. So I, like Javi, don't feel like all white people. I know all white people are not bad. I know all black people are not good. So like when I go out, when I'm hanging out with my girls and stuff, I'm not fear of the white man shooting me when I'm out. I'm fear of my people shooting me when I'm out. So My thing is this. I understand where they're saying that, unity, we shouldn't be focused on unity or anything like that, but I grew up on unity. My whole life has been unity. So I can only speak what I know. I don't have those struggles that maybe Miss Parker has or what she's experienced. My whole life has been unity, and that's what we teach our children.
I have
Okay.
12 biracial nieces and nephews and a biracial siblings, and I went to AC Fleur High School. So I've been around white people my whole life, and so my family
So
is
let me ask you
multiracial.
this, Miss Parker. Let me ask you this, Miss Parker. With your
Yes,
biracial children, do you separate them because they're biracial? Do you tell them go join your own community? What community do they join?
they are in the black community because phenotypically they're black, and they will be seen as black in in this society. So they're black.
Even though they have a white
I don't
mother. What do you tell them to do with their mother?
It doesn't matter. Here, their teachings as far as the other side of their race. That's the responsibility of their that side of their family. When they are in their black space, and here, once you're biracial in this country, you're going to check black, white. That's what you're going to check. And phenotypically, if they were white passing, that's a different conversation. They are not white passing, so they're black in this country. Like, so that's just that. Their experiences will be black. Their experiences won't be like, oh, you're not a nigger because you're half. They're going to still be seen as a nigger. So again, their experiences are going to be that of a black person, and that's what they are being taught. That's how they're being raised, because they're going to have a black experience. They're not going to have a white experience because they're biracial. That's never going to happen for them. Like, it's never going to happen. And
You don't
it's
think
not even,
children should though? You don't think that they still should? Because at the end of the day, they still have a white mother. I get what you're saying.
Nobody is telling anyone to disown the side of their identity and who they are. That nobody said that. There's nothing wrong with your identity and the other side of who you are. Nobody is saying that. But we're talking about your experience. And again, your experience in this world, how you will be seen, is as of a black woman, or a black male. Nobody's gonna say, oh, you're not. No, you're not.
Right.
And again, it may look a little different than somebody that is fully black, but again, it's going to still be the experience of a person of color, of a black person. It's not, they're not going to, unless you are white passing, your experience is going to be that of a person. You're going to be marginalized as well.
I kind of would think that if they pass as a light-skinned or a white-skinned person, they would still be seen as, oh, you're not really one of us type deal. But it'd be the same thing for the other side. Oh, you're not black.
Passing means that you pass. Yeah, he's talking about color. If you're passing, that means that you're not, nobody knows. You're ambiguous. You can be mistaken for a white person. A person that is typically it's not as common. That they're biracial.
Oh yeah, I definitely understand. I have a mixed daughter myself, and she's very light, but definitely not white. But so she experiences, hate from the black community because she's not black enough, or she definitely doesn't look black, and she definitely doesn't look white. So she gets hate from the other side as well. And then she doesn't speak Spanish, so she gets a little bit of hate from the Hispanic culture as well. So those kids have it very tough. Right. Not all of them, but a good majority.
I'm curious to go back to what the question was saying, just about how do you have, I might not be phrasing it right, but allyship, but people don't identify with their own hate for the black community. Right. Because my children's father is Panamanian. He's just as dark as the color black himself. But when I first met him, he didn't identify as a black man. He felt like he was something different than a black man. 26 years, 30 years later, he's changed. He's given me black books about the black experience. His mindset has changed because he's lived in this country. But when he first got to here, he didn't identify as a black man at all. And I used to be like, if the Klan showed up today, they hang you first, right?
Right.
He didn't identify with it, and I never could understand where that came from. Like, how do you look in the mirror and not see your skin color and don't identify with people who look like you?
That's only an American thing.
You just said it. It's his experience. When he was in his country, What was he in his country? He didn't
Panamanian.
experience that till he came where? Here.
That's only an American thing.
Yeah, so
Race
So
and
if you would have
ethnicity.
gone and you,
it's bigger in the United States. Have you, when you travel to other countries, you see that it's not as big as it is in the United States.
no, I wouldn't even say that it's like that. If you were to go and call a Cuban or Puerto Rican, it'd be a problem because they've been beefing for so long, and their flags are so similar. They're the exact same shape, exact same lines. It's just the colors are different. We do not identify people by the color of our skin. We identify them from where they are from. If you're Panamanian, you're Panamanian. Don't call them a Dominican because it'd be like fighting words type deal. Almost the exact same thing is like, oh, because you're dark, you're black. That's we don't exactly see things like that from a Hispanic culture.
There
And
are
that's why-
Afro Latinos, and Afro Latinos are black people. They're black, phenotypically they're black. An Afro Latino is a phenotypically black person. Like they're part of the diaspora. That means there was a boat stop from Africa that stopped there. So phenotypically they're black. They are Afro Latinos. There are white Latinos. So race and ethnicity, we got to understand the difference between race and ethnicity.
No,
you know, you can be
I
Latino
understand.
and still be black. They're Afro Latinos and they are black people.
I
Whether they
understand what
identify
you're
it
saying.
with it or not, whether they accept it or not, they're black people.
So it's
Right, and that's why I'm
more slave
And
ships
that's
landed in
where the
States.
anti-blackness in there where that comes from.
See, but it
So that's why
wouldn't
his
matter.
experience was
It
different.
would not matter. You can say, oh, you can be from Dominican Republic, and it could be an Afro Latina. You can walk up to them and be like, hey, you're Afro Latina. I'm gonna say no, that doesn't exist there. It really doesn't matter. How many boats stopped where doesn't matter. Where you're from, and to any Spanish person is where they are from. The whole like they don't exactly believe the whole we came from one person type deal. You know, whatever
I
that
beg to
story is.
differ because
But
I
that's
know
why
you're
it's important. Like
talking
Shannon is talking about, once he educated himself, once he started reading books and learning, then you cannot be dismissive of these kinds of conversations, because then you learn your identity. Like sometimes, you know, you just have to be, you can't, you know, it's unfortunate, you know, because some people aren't taught certain things, but that at some point you have to read, you have to educate yourself, and you have to learn. And once you learn things, it's not about how you feel. Some things are facts, you know, it's facts over feelings. Like these are factual things about how this happened, you know, and race and identity and ethnicity. It's not once you, and again, unfortunately, when you get to the United States, that is a place that you learn that whether it was that way in your country or not, you're going to learn it here. And luckily for you, he learned those things, and now he's not debating facts.
Yeah,
History.
big facts.
Yeah.
But I guess
Right.
Javi,
And that's exactly what I just said. It was his experience when he got here. That
well,
changed
Javi,
his
I thought differently. I thought that the Hispanic culture did see the same type racism
Oh no,
between
it's not to say
lighter skinned Hispanics and darker skin. Because like Amada La Negra from Love and Hip Hop, she talks about all the time how she's not accepted because of her darker skin in the Latin community.
So racism here is much like racism in any other country, right? If you're outside and you know you work in the fields, you'll be looked upon a certain type of way than a person that works inside of an office, right? Obviously, if you're darker in one of those countries, you probably work outside. You know, like I said, either fields, constructions, whatever it might be. So there's racism within Puerto Ricans. There's racism within Dominicans. You know, racism is not just a American thing.
Okay.
That's just like the different tribes that may be in Africa. If you're not from one tribe, you will be, you know, looked at a different type way. Whatever violence or whatever happens over there, you know, that's just racism is everywhere and amongst every culture.
Well, the problem, well, not problem, but with what you just said, the thing here in America, it doesn't matter where you work. If you're black, you're black.
You're black.
You can be a CEO.
Right.
You can be a field hand. You can be You can work in customer service. You can, it doesn't matter.
You can be the president of the
Yeah,
United States
the
of America.
president of the United States, and and you saw all these monkey memes and all these other things, but the fact is, here in America, and again, I've never lived in another country, so I don't
Yeah.
know their mo. But what I can say here in America, if you're black here, you know it, and people with darker skin, who are not U.S. citizens, when they come here, they may have one mindset, but the fact of the matter is, and this is always a difficult conversation because I feel it's hard to get, unless you've walked in our shoes, it's kind of hard to understand exactly what we're speaking of. And this is
On
something
both
I've
sides.
lived for 49 years. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what I do at work. It doesn't matter where I go. It doesn't. The first thing they see, obviously, it's I'm never viewed as the smartest person in the room, no matter what my credentials are. I always have to prove myself, whereas others, they can simply walk in and, oh yeah, they're already seen that way. And I think that's the major difference, but it shouldn't matter because I know for me personally, I was raised in predominantly black high school, black town, black everything, right? But I treat people how they treat me. That's what I do. However, pause. I bet on everything black. That's never going to change with me. You know what I mean? I know this is totally off topic, but when we talk about like the whole Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark thing, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't hate Caitlin Clark, but I love Angel Reese. Why? Because she's a sister for one. She could be my daughter, my niece, and then I see everything. I read all the comments and it always. You know what I mean? All because she did a gesture in this young woman's face, and now she's seen as a damsel in distress. Oh, the evil black woman did X, Y, and Z to, you know what I mean? And just with that one gesture, she became a villain. She didn't ask for that. She was playing a game of basketball, but simply because she
asked for it.
I did it too.
Nah, she didn't ask for it
because she went on camera and during one of those first interviews, she said she doesn't mind being the villain. So.
That's not asking for it.
But that was after they villainized her though. After they villainized her, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Joker before his makeup, he was still the Joker. He just wasn't recognized as Joker until after he put the makeup on. You see what I'm saying?
Nah.
This is why.
I think we just established that race does not stop black people from achieving goals.
Okay.
No, we just have to work that much harder.
You do have to work. I'm not saying you don't have to work harder, but y'all did just say black people become CEOs. You even said they became the president. So I think we've established racism does exist, and it might be even a little bit harder, or maybe a lot bit harder, to get to some of these levels in government or in organizations, whatever it may be. But the opportunities are there just the same. Might be less number of openings. Okay, I'm not saying it's a 50-50 type deal, but we saying the opportunities still are there.
So you're saying that just because you're black doesn't mean it stops your progress. Like there are successful black people in this world, and there
are many successful black people in this world. The NFL makes more black millionaires than any other organization in the world.
The what?
The NFL.
Okay.
What other organization makes more black millionaires?
Given the fact that if you take black people out of football, I mean,
the sport
would suck. The sport would suck. The same thing with basketball.
If you
the
do
same
that,
thing with baseball.
If you do that, you have soccer.
You're relegating black people and their opportunities to sports. I mean, that's not what we're talking about. Like, I mean,
no, of course, and it doesn't only have to be.
I feel like honestly and truly,
black people
I think
have many seats in government. See, I kind of feel like you're making it seem like, oh, because I'm black people can never hold positions of power.
No, I feel like you don't know anything about black people. I feel like you don't know enough. You haven't done enough work to speak affirmatively about some of these. You're making assertions.
We've already established that.
You're oversimplifying things for us. Like, oh, it can just happen. We can just do that. So to me, what that tells me is that you haven't done the work. You haven't done the reading. You haven't done the thing to understand the data is there, like statistics. I mean, if you really, really care about this subject, read and do the work. Like, I mean, there are countless books, there are countless authors that have done the work to educate people on this subject, so speaking like, oh, it's just simple. Oh, because you see Thurgood Marshall made this, because one Black president, there are so many obstacles that we face. There's so many hills that we have to climb collectively. DEI initiatives being rolled back to oppress us. Like, it's almost like you don't understand. I mean, and if you don't understand, that's okay.
You're making it seem like it's
I feel like you don't understand, and I feel like you don't understand because you haven't done the work. And it's okay to say I don't know because I haven't done the work, but you got to acknowledge that, because you're speaking. You just said that the NFL makes. Do you know Black men are smart? Black men are.
Of course.
We are inventors. We are creators. We built this country. So the fact that you want to relegate to what we should have, to football, to basketball, to sports, we're way more than that. We're way bigger than that. You wouldn't even be in this country if it weren't for Black people. Everything you stand, everywhere you walk, everything you see, every light you turn on, had it not been for a Black man, you wouldn't have that. So relegating us to just throwing a football, can we run, can we jump? That's baseless, and you need to do some work.
Yeah,
no, definitely not. Most of the inventions. Go ahead. Oh, well,
I'll just say, I think I understand the point you were trying to make. I think just you using that example, because for us, we teach our children that you don't have to rely on trying to be a football player. Right. You don't have to rely on trying to be the best basketball player. You're so much more as a human being, and your ability to achieve and become a millionaire is not based on whether or not you can get selected by a team to play a sport. So that is
and you just heard a Black man on this podcast say that I could walk in a room and I'm not seen as the smart. You just heard him express that to you, and it's like you didn't hear it, like you didn't hear what he's saying. It is harder.
Your victim mentality is to the extreme right now. Okay, I am very well aware that more than 50%
not marching for y'all. I want you to understand that. That's why I will never show up.
Okay, hold on. Love.
Okay, I'm about to exit because y'all doing something.
See, listen.
It's because
of the love.
I understand. Listen, I understand her passion for what she does. Okay, I just gave one very, very small example. I am very much aware that maybe 60, maybe 70% of the inventions in the world have been given by Black people. Most of the things that we use every day are from Black people. I am very much aware of this. What I am saying is, the opportunities are there. Let me ask you this: what is your education?
You talking about the collective, or
or everybody? What's everybody's education?
Some educated Black folk on here.
I understand. Yeah. So you're not oppressed then. You're not oppressed to where you couldn't go to college.
We oppressed.
No. So let's do what I'm saying.
Okay.
Shannon, don't you got a PhD?
No, I wish. No.
I know one of them in the group that we've been invited to Terry's house. She has a PhD, or she was going for a PhD. What I'm saying is there are ample opportunities for all colored people to go to school, to get educated.
And Javi, I think
she's trying to make it seem like, oh, Black people can't do nothing in this country.
Based on
it's
that,
not like that.
What that says though, and what that says though, Javi, is that you, and I don't know you personally, so this isn't like a personal jab or anything.
I don't never take it personal.
None of that, right? So, I just don't think. I think that your mentality is with a lot of non-Black people is that they truly don't get it. And when I say that, when you make statements like, because we were able to go to college, that we're not oppressed, you don't know what we had to go through.
No, I'm not saying that you're not oppressed.
No, but that those were your words though. So and all I say is like, and I guess it's like when you, not that you have to watch what you say, but a couple things. It was like you said going to college versus being oppressed, and then you also said, you mentioned that Tanae had a victim mentality. When you say things like that, those are triggers to Black people, because that's what we hear. We hear that all the time, even when the situation warrants it. That's like it's something people say to kind of summarily dismiss what we're saying. Oh, that's not true. They're just playing the victim. They're doing this. They're doing that. So, and I think that in this situation, and this is a podcast, so everybody has an opinion. We respect everybody's opinion.
Respect everybody's opinion.
But one of the things that I do personally, when I don't fully, if somebody feels a certain way, right, and I'm in the back of my head, I'm thinking, why? I mean, I just don't see why they feel that way. You know what I do? I listen. I listen to what they're saying. I take heed. You know what I mean? Simply because you never truly know what people are going through, and it's easy to say, how one demographic should feel if you haven't had to walk in their shoes or go through half the things that they had to do. And again, I know that it's based on your conversation. I can understand. I totally get that. You feel that there should be unity, which I do too. But I do think that when having that conversation, there still needs to be a certain level of empathy that we need to have.
Yeah, and I agree. Even going back, I agree with what Ms. Parker is saying. Black people and the Spanish people, they'll never get along. And even on the Fish and Grits podcast, I've said that plenty of times. Why? Because Spanish people will never understand what Black people have gone through. This little glimpse of what Spanish people are having to go through right now, even with that, I hate to say that Spanish people, they're still not going to understand, and they're still not going to be like, oh, maybe we should join forces type deal. It's just never going to happen. It's not going to work. And it's for ample reasons of why it won't work.
So that's what I'm interested to try to figure out. And that's why I want to have this conversation, because it's like, why? What is stopping us? What are the things preventing us from working together, especially when we all have seemingly, for maybe lack of a better way to describe it or not picking the right words, we all have the same enemy.
Right.
It's experience.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's not a thing here. And that's what I want to discuss.
It just comes down to experience.
I think a huge part of it is a lot of non-Blacks see what we do as complaining or bitching or like playing like we're playing the role of victims when that's actually not the case. You know what I mean? And that's why this is why these types of conversations are needed, because if there ever is to be any solidarity or unification, we have to, again, like the original question said, people have to confront their anti-Blackness, whether they know they have it or not. Because some people are anti-Black, they just don't even know it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that with these conversations are important, and we need to, in order to bridge that gap, we're going to have to be able to not just like express our opinions, but listen to the other sides and seriously, legitimately hear what they have to say.
Mm-hmm. Today, what's up?
And I think a goal for
we've listened. Everybody has kind of had their say, but we've listened to everybody say so. But just that quick, how heated it got, that's why people don't have these conversations.
Absolutely.
That's why people stay to themselves, because we don't open our minds to think that maybe they feel this way because of their experience. The same way you sat here, Shannon, and said your children's father didn't think he was Black. Why didn't he think he was Black? Has anybody asked him, why didn't you think you were Black?
Well, yeah, the same thing we touched on. His coming up in Panama. That wasn't
his experience.
In the same way that we look at everybody, mainly, well, not I won't say everybody. A large part of the culture is of color, right? Where over here, white has been made to seem like it's paramount to other cultures. And I don't know if it's the same in the Spanish community. So when he came over here, they didn't have the same thought process about color with a white person.
Right.
As we
didn't have the same thought process about color until I moved here. Okay? I came here from Germany. I didn't have the same thought process. So again, it's about people's experiences. You can't tell me my experience is less than yours. I can't tell you yours is greater than mine. I'm obviously darker than you. What makes your experience better than mine or less? So that's where the conflict comes in, because people keep talking about what's more, what's greater, what's less, instead of listening to each other.
Yeah, and again, how do we move forward? How do we get to a place where, as a society, we can
We're
start
not
to move
going
forward?
to. We're not going to.
We got to. We don't have a choice but to. Or we
Well,
gonna
let
get
me ask you
alive.
this. Okay, so, and this is why I brought up the biracial thing, because there's a lot of mixing going on.
Mhm.
So obviously we doing something, because there's a lot of biracial children out here. Black people are not just staying in their community. Puerto Ricans are not just staying in their community. White people are not just staying in their community. It's not going to happen. So some people are choosing to unite races in their
But I mean,
own way. In their own way.
that's been going on since slavery.
They're not going to the norms. They're not looking for the government. They're just choosing to live their life how they want to live their life.
But there's been race mixing since slavery. So slave owners used to rape the black women. So it was never about. I mean,
that wasn't by choice, though.
What wasn't by choice?
Being raped was not a choice.
But raping is a choice.
Huh?
Yeah.
But raping is a choice. So there was.
That's not what she's saying. She's saying from the woman's perspective.
A choice. You're choosing to date a white woman. You're choosing to date a black man. You're choosing to date a Korean, an Asian, or whomever. That's the difference now.
So you think now our society we won't have a true black community. We won't have a true white community in 100 years. That's what you're saying?
Yes, we will. Nobody is race mixing in those numbers. Like that's not that nothing supports that. Like nobody is race mixing in numbers.
Well, you show me the
we're just going to have one race.
That black people are staying in their community.
I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear you.
You just said that there's not a lot of race.
We are staying in our communities collectively. We are staying in our communities.
Listen to you, Miss Parker. We have sat here and listened to you.
I just want to know how today became Miss Parker. I'd be Miss Berry.
This is why it won't happen.
What have you said that we should be listening to? I'm asking you. You said black people. Are you in? I don't know where you are. Are you in Colombia?
Interrupted.
I didn't hear you. It's lagging. I didn't hear you. Ask your question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. I forgot the damn question.
Well, I thought you asked me. You just asked me. You said are black. You said didn't. You asked me a question. You said didn't I say that black people are staying in their communities? And when I attempted to respond, you cut me off. So I'm asking. You said that. You asked me a question, and I was trying to answer it.
It is a little bit of a delay, y'all. So we sorry about that. I don't know why. I know everybody's on their own internet. It is a little bit of a delay. So Terry, go ahead and finish your thought.
No, I was listening to her say that there's not enough race mixing going on, but obviously there is.
I think she was saying not enough race mixing for it to change the fact that we won't have a pure black community and a pure white community.
And pure white, like it's just not going to happen. Things will change. Just like as they say in the Bible, people were of sandy skin, complexion. It's just, I don't think, to me, my personal opinion, there's never going to be just a all pure white race. There's not going to be an all pure black race because people are choosing to mix. And it's a choice now. It's not forced. And that's what I'm saying. When Hook was saying about slavery and being raped and stuff, that wasn't a choice. We didn't choose to get raped. It happened. We didn't have a choice. But now people have a choice. And the newer generation actually are mixing a lot because they are choosing not to see color.
My point is that my point is saying that, though, Terry, is not that obviously if you're raped, and again, let me clarify because I don't want to get canceled, right? But so the rapee, obviously, that's not their choice, but the raper, it is their choice, right?
Right.
Can we agree on that? Right. So so all I'm saying, my whole point for saying that, even though there is a lot of race mixing now, that does not eliminate the prejudices that go on, the biases, the way that they may feel.
Right.
Right.
even if they are mixing. So that was my whole point.
The thing about it is the separation. That's what I'm talking about. Is the separation. We keep talking about separation. How do you separate? Shannon, you have a Mexican daughter, a granddaughter, right? Is she black
Honduran. She's
to
black.
you? But what to her mother?
Probably to her mother, well, I think to her mother, she sees her as a black child.
Right.
Does
She has to
speak
raise
Spanish?
her as a black child because she will be seen in her experiences will be black. She's
Right. And that's what I've been
black.
saying all night. It's about people's experiences, correct? Is it not?
No, I said phenotypically she's black. She will be seen as black. It's not, you don't get to choose how you present. She's going, and her experiences will be that. Like, granted, I have a sister. I have siblings who are half Mexican, half black. They present black. Their experiences are black. They identify as black.
Right.
It doesn't change that their mother is a Mexican. They know who their mom is, but their experiences are that of a black man and a black woman. That's who they are.
So how do you separate? That's what I'm trying to ask you.
Nobody needs to separate anything. How you identify in your family and what happens in your home, it has nothing to do. Now, here's the thing. You asked me to let you talk, and now I'm answering what you asked me. I'm trying to answer. How they present and what happens in their home and what you're taught in the home has nothing to do with how you're going to be seen in the world, how you're going to be treated in the world. Nobody's telling anybody that they don't have to identify with any part of them. It has to do with what you're going to, what your experiences are going to be in this world. And you're going to have, I don't know.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is, I know things got a little heated. However, I don't see that as a bad thing because I think this is a start. This is how we start. This is how we start the conversation, and this is what. And I, again, regardless of my opinion, I respect everyone else's, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I certainly understand, and I would love to hear more. And I wish we had more time, quite frankly, because it was really just starting to get good, really. And I think that finally we were able to peel back the onions a little bit, peel back the layers, and starting to make some progress, right? But before we peel out, though, I do want to. I want each of you to give me like a parting shot. Like, give me something that you want to leave the audience with, and just something that you want to say that's relevant to today's conversation. And Javi, we want to go ahead and start with you.
My thing would be treat people the way you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's basically what we spoke about today. Racism is a huge thing right now. I'm kind of on the side where there are a lot of cross mixing between the races. It'll only be a matter of time before whites become such an extreme minority. And maybe by that time, if it does happen, things will be a lot better in the world.
All right. Terry, what you got?
The same thing. Just like Eric Jones in the comments said, I treat people how they treat me, white or black. But I don't ignore the history of us.
All right, good stuff. Tanae, what you got?
I think we can all be better by empowering ourselves by reading, by learning more and knowing more. I think that's what everyone should be doing. The more you know about history and culture and race, the better you can move forward. We're not going to be forward unless we empower ourselves, and you start first by empowering your mind.
Shannon, it's on you.
It's my turn. Look, I'm so grateful for all y'all for coming on the show and giving your opinion, whether it be opinion based on what you've read or your opinion just based on your experiences and how you feel. Because I think I know that I don't know a lot about the Latino community and what they are going through. So, and how, if they even have any similarities to us or if they don't, and why we can't figure out how to move forward. That's my thing. Because at the end of the day, for me, I feel like we're all in this country. And even though I agree with Tanae about us starting our community, I think that's really important. I still think there is a level to that where we have to think about all of us as a whole, because we're in here. It's almost like saying, if you got 5 people in your house, you only have to worry about feeding yourself. Like, at some point, people gonna start eating off your food too, right? So at some point, we all impact each other. And I just think that was a good conversation to have. I'm so grateful that y'all came on here and shared your opinions, and I just thank you. And maybe we do a part 2, part 3. I don't know what you think.
I mean, I'm all for it. I
Okay,
think that there are a lot of things that definitely have been left unsaid.
definitely.
But for me, the biggest thing for me is we have a lot more commonalities than we have things that
Mm-hmm.
separate.
We do.
Regardless of skin color, regardless of sexuality, regardless of all these things, right? We have more in common than we have differences. So if we can put those things aside and keep the main thing the main thing, I do think that we can see some progress. Based on this conversation alone, we already know we got our work cut out for us. So
Yeah,
it's not.
and the passion.
It's yeah, and that's one thing I love about all three panelists is I see the passion. I do see how
Mm-hmm.
you guys feel about this particular subject, and again, I want to commend each of you for one coming on and B being very transparent. Because I've heard everything that you guys have said, and you guys have given me a lot to go back and really contemplate. So I truly appreciate that. And I hope the viewers feel the same. I think I know there were a lot of comments. We didn't get to all of them. But we do want to keep this conversation going. So again, if you guys are open, we'll be more than happy to have you back on to do a follow up. And Shannon and I will get together and we'll just let you guys know. But in the meantime, until next time, again, this has been great. So Javi, I appreciate you for coming on. I truly do, taking time out of your schedule. Terry, glad to have you back on. Terry and I also veterans because we survived the dub. So it's we survived the dub, so we veterans as well. And Tanae, thank you so much. I really appreciate your insightfulness and everything. So thank you so much, Shannon. As always, you know how we do, you know how we roll. So
Eric said,
yeah,
"Add him. Add him." Who's Eric?
Eric is
Oh
Eric.
yeah, you didn't get to the comments,
Yeah,
but there were some good comments in there. I
yeah.
was really glad we were going
Eric
along.
is from the hometown, so yeah, I got him. I got him.
Okay.
Now, but again,
Okay.
Shannon, as always, I appreciate you. And for the audience, again, make sure you follow, react, subscribe. We're bringing you A1 content here, so please don't miss out. So again, until next time, we'll see you.